فلسطينيين 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 وبدنا نحميها للقاع 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 واليوم اليوم اليوم واليوم اليوم اليوم عيدك يا بلدي عيدك يا بلدي عيدك نحفظ ونقابل بعض.
With a lot of suspicion. In the place that we walked together in Talitakumi, there were several meetings. The Palestinians were sure that the Israelis are from the security service. The Israelis were very suspicious, checked their car after each meeting to check if there is no bomb that was hiding in the car. But later on, they developed the vision and the goals of combating for peace. And you can find it in our website and our Facebook. All is written there.
We have a small video clip just to introduce the combatants as a movement. Hisham, is it possible? So this gives you a brief impression on what Combatants for Peace does. But there's a lot more activities than this what we saw. Yaniv, can you briefly say what kind of activities we saw? Arts and culture. There's more, I think.
Yes, you saw now the protest in Tel Aviv Square during the last war, in the last summer. Suleiman Khatib from Ramallah came to the square, and we were the first organization in Israel and Palestine that demonstrate during the war against the war. So this is important to say. Now the activities itself, we are doing of course protest and demonstration, but we have also other activity. We are operating 5 regional groups. Each group is operating in a twin city. We are all from the same group, Tel Aviv Tulkarem. I live in Tel Aviv, Iyad live in Tulkarem, Rima used to live in Tel Aviv. We have another group in Tel Aviv Nablus, Jerusalem El Quds, Jerusalem Bethlehem, and Beersheva, Hebron, Halil. And in each group we found injustices in ground. Our Palestinian friend, the Palestinian side, found place that need our help, and we are doing the theater-based process. This is the link to former theater in Rotterdam. We use Theater of the Oppressed. We are doing solidarity activities, helping farmers against settlers, etc. And we are doing house meeting activities. One of the fascinating projects right now, we just started. We are meeting with young Israeli just before their mandatory military services, and we are doing them basically what we are doing to you right now. They meet Palestinian. We get a special permit for the Palestinian to enter Israeli high schools and other places around, and Israeli, and they hear our story. And for most of them, it's the first time in their life that they are seeing Palestinian. Like when we come to Palestine, for most of the Palestinians, it's probably the first time that they see Israeli that is not a settler or a soldier. Since the separation wall, the separation between the people is growing. So many kind of activity, and once again, you can go to our website, to our Facebook, to see our ongoing activity.
You already mentioned the link between format and Combatants for Peace is theater. We work with Theater of the Oppressed in Rotterdam with marginalized groups in the neighborhood. We use the theater to give a voice to those who are made silently in society. And we use the theater to raise their voice and to go in dialogue about the problems they face. You can think on people with learning disabilities, people with psychiatric problems, who also are part of neighborhoods. very important to include them. So it's a very inclusive model. We've been doing this tour. We had the visit of you guys, and we had this amazing opportunity to do a one-day workshop with 12 Palestinians, 12 Israeli, and 6 Dutch people, amongst them Maluki, Tamar, and me. We made a short documentary about that also. I would like to invite you to watch that a little bit. So the theatrical context will come more clear for you in this encounter we had. You saw we were working in the workshop space, and the final bit on where she was explaining about how settlements are actually spreading all over Palestinian territories. It's really impressive to be in a country where there are A, B, and C zones, and where some people cannot use certain roads, and others are seeing images, big blackboards where they say forbidden for Israeli people because there is danger to your lives. It is a very impressive thing. Now, what fascinates me always is if you've been part of the violent circle, you've all been part of the violent circle. And then there is this moment in your life where there is this personal transformation where you realize that violence isn't the solution. But in order to know who you are, I think we need first to know who you were before. So I would like to ask you to speak, to tell us, how did you become a combatant for peace member? Iyad. Can I start with you? I'm gonna give you the mic.
And I have a really good voice. Do you hear me? Amazing.
Yeah.
اسمي إياد عمري 31 سنة.
My name is Iyad. I'm 31 years old.
بسكن في مخيم للاجئين.
And I live in a refugee camp.
طبعا هذا المخيم أنا وعائلتي لا نملك فيه شيء، وكل اللاجئين الموجودين فيه لا يملكوا فيه شيء، مش إلنا.
In refugee camps all over the world, you don't own the land that you build your house on it. It's not ours.
تربيت في عائلة أغلبيتهم سجنوا لسنين طويلة في سجون الاحتلال بسبب مقاومتهم للاحتلال.
I was raised in a family that most of its members they were arrested by the occupation army.
أنا في الانتفاضة الأولى كنت صغير ما كنت أفهم إشي.
In the first intifada, I was young and I didn't really understand what's going on around me.
في الانتفاضة الثانية كنت يعني كبرت وعيت وعرفت أنه في إشي اسمه احتلال إسرائيلي محتل أرضي وماخذ أرضي.
In the second intifada, I was a young youth and I started to understand that there is occupation around me and people trying to take my lands.
فصرت أفكر زي أي فلسطيني أنه أنا لازم أعمل إشي عشان أقاوم الاحتلال وعشان أرضي.
So I started to think like every Palestinian that I need to take an action and to end the occupation in order to save my land.
فصرت أساعد اللي بيقاوموا الاحتلال لأن أنا كنت لسه صغير شوي، عمري كان 17 سنة.
So I started to help people in the armed resistance. And I was helping them while I was 16 years old. 17 years old.
فاعتقلت لمدة 6 شهور بسبب مساعدتي للمقاومين.
And because I was their assistant, so I was arrested for 7 months in the Israeli jails.
وأنا داخل السجن بالعكس إشي ما ردعني، وصرت أفكر أنه أنا اللي لازم أعمل، مش أنا لازم أساعد، لا اللي بعمله لازم أنا أعمل.
And while I spent this time in the jails, I got convinced that I need to do by myself and not only to be an assistant for the people that they fight.
كانت قناعاتي أنه كل الخيارات بالنسبة لي إشي عادي. يعني كل الوسائل اللي أنا لازم أعملها إشي عادي.
And also I got to this understand that all the ways are legitimate in order to fight the occupation.
فصرت أبحث في أي طريقة على أساس أنه أنا أعمل إشي، فوصلت بطريقة أو أخرى إلى لمنظمة حزب الله.
So I started to look for ways in order to help me to fight the occupation, and in one way or another I got in contact with the Hezbollah organization in Lebanon.
فكنا نتلقى الأموال لشراء سلاح.
So we started to receive money in order to buy guns and weapons.
اشترينا السلاح وعملنا في دائرة العنف، دخلنا دائرة العنف اللي هم احنا بالنسبة لنا مقاومة الاحتلال.
So I started to work and to become member of the armed violent resistance against the occupation.
تم اعتقالي بعدها لمدة 5 سنوات.
After that I was arrested for 5 years by the Israelis.
فصارت عدة أحداث بتخصني وأنا داخل السجن.
And so many things happened outside of the jail while I was inside.
منها استشهاد ابن عمي لي.
One of that, it was important for me, the freedom Shahid, martyr, and he was my cousin.
برضو تم اعتقال أخوي وحكم عليه 15 سنة، فما زال لحد هسه في السجن.
And also my younger brother, he was arrested and put into 15 years in the jails, and he's still there until today.
فهاي المرحلة خلتني يعني شوي أنه لازم أفكر بحالي أو أفكر مع حالي أو بأهلي.
And all these occasions that happened brought me to this point where I need to start about my family and about my own life.
روحت سنة 2007 من السجن.
In 2007 I was released.
سمعت عن المنظمة هاي، طبعا كان أنا بالنسبة لي يعني شيء مستحيل.
I heard about the organization Combatants for Peace, and for me it was something impossible to be part of it.
لأزد من مرة حاول معي أني بس أروح وأسمع وأشوف، وأنا كنت رافض.
So many times they approached me and they asked me to join the meetings, but I said no way, I'm not going to do it.
فرحت يعني بالآخر رحت ومرة يعني لأزد من 4-5 مرات أسمع وأشوف، فاكتشفت لأنه زي ما في فلسطينيين بدهم السلام، في برضو إسرائيليين بدهم السلام.
So after that I convinced to go just to hear, and it took me 4 until 5 meetings where I went there, and I understood through the first 5 meetings that there are Israelis, Jewish, that they really want peace.
اشتركت معهم في المجموعة، وكان بالنسبة لي أنه هذا إشي مش احتمال، أكيد راح يوقف يعني الدم بيننا، أو راح أنقذ أنا إيش اللي كنت خايف عليه من أهلي أو من إخوتي.
So I became a member of one of the groups, and I became member of one of the groups, and I got to this understanding that what we're doing, it's in order to keep our kids' future safe.
وأنا من سنة تقريبا 2008 بعمل مع هاي المؤسسة.
And since 2008 I'm part and working with this organization.
هاي قصة.
This is my short story.
Thank you. Yes, of course.
I want to add something really. You love my.
No,
okay.
No, I don't like it.
Okay.
But I use it.
You love it. I just want to add something small that when we saw.